In previous tutorials, we've had a look at how to make adjustments to an image to enhance the overall quality. In this tutorial, we will do the same, but we will also make some corrections to the image and actually add some special effects that make a change to the image entirely. So the goal here is, we're looking at this image here, we have someone just slightly out of shot, so we're going to remove this person from the picture. We're going to have a look at the Weasleys. The Weasleys are obviously played by different actors and not really from the same family. So their hair colour isn't actually uniform. And we're going to try and adjust it so that they all have more similar hair. And finally, there isn't any particular focus on this image. So I'm going to choose Ginny and I'm going to make her wand glow as if she's casting a Lumos spell. You can choose whichever character you prefer to do that with. Okay, and we should end up with something like this. Obviously I've gone overboard with the hair there, but that's really just to give you an idea of where we're heading. So, if I go to today's lesson, we have Weasley's JPEG, and if I right click on that and copy image, that'll put it into the paste buffer. And if I come back to Photoshop and go File and New, then it should pick up the size of that image and make that the right height and width for pasting. Click on OK, and then Edit and Paste will make that available. We don't particularly need this background layer, this white, so we're going to go to here and choose Flatten Image. And now we're ready to have a go at fixing some things. Now the first thing I want to show you is that we have a tool called the Clone Stamp tool. And it's just here below the brush. So we've got a healing tool, brush tool, and then the Clone Stamp tool, which I'm going to choose here. Now the way the Clone Stamp tool works is you can use the Alt key to highlight a particular point in the image. So I'm going to use the Alt key, and you see it turns to a crosshair. I'm going to do that over Ron's nose here. Click. And then I'm going to go to Ginny's face and just start to paint. And what it'll do is it'll actually paint around. Anything that I move over gets painted into that place. So we can have a really weird double Ron in the picture here. That's not what we're actually going to do here. So I'm just going to go to Edit and Undo Clone Stamp there. What I actually want to do is to take some of this background and paint it over this person here. So I'm going to go to just as close as I can get to this arm as without touching it as possible and set my target there. So Alt click to set a target, and then I'm going to paint that background over this person. So I'm effectively removing them from the scene. There you go. A little bit of unobtrusive back wall has then been painted over. There's a little bit of leg here, but no one's really going to notice that. It means we're not looking at someone who's out of shot. So that's the first thing that we have done there. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make a duplicate of the background. So duplicate layer of the background. And I'm just going to call this spell. So what I'm going to do to cast a spell here is I'm going to have Lumos, which is a glowing light coming from the tip of the wand. I'm going to go to Filter and then Render, and I'm going to choose a lens flare. A lens flare is an effect that we see quite often in movies. When the camera turns towards the sun, we get a bit of a strange glow from it. And the lens flare will appear wherever this crosshair is. So if I put it over Ron's face, a little plus there, that's where it'll appear. Now where I want to put it is, if we look here, Ginny's wand is right behind her brother Fred or George, don't know which it is, but it's behind his ear. So I'm going to take that and put it just as close as I can get to where that wand tip is going to be. And there are various different lenses that we can have, and they will have a different effect. We don't really want a movie one because that's a lot of glare off of it. I'm going to go for a 35mm prime lens. And we can change the brightness, obviously, to wiping out the entire shot, down to something that we can't even see. So maybe about 80%, say. Click on OK. And there we have, I was slightly out, but it looks good enough. There we have Ginny's wand casting a spell. Okay, the last thing I have to do then is to adjust all the Weasley's hair. Now I'm going to do that. I'm just going to switch off that effect so it's easier for me to see what's going on here. And this is similar to techniques that we've had in the past. So I'm going to use the quick selection tool. Before I do that, I'm going to zoom in. Now you can see George and Fred have light hair. Ginny has slightly darker and Ron has the darkest hair of all. So I'm actually going to start with Ron's hair as being the darkest, as the one that I want to change before I change anyone else's. So I'm going to use the quick selection tool here, and a few clicks, and I need to make sure I've got plus selected there. Few clicks to pick up all of his hair. Try not to pick up any of the background. I've got a bit of his ear there. Now going into his face. So, and I need to take this bit round his face as well there. So I'm going to go to the minus now and try and get rid of all this skin. And it'll be a little bit tricky because he's got ginger eyebrows. A little spread across there. A little nip there. And that's probably good enough. I could probably just use the lasso tool and maybe take his ear out. So remember, to remove something, it's going to be the Alt key. And to add something in it would be the Shift key. So I'm going to take out a little bit of his face there. Bit around his eye here. But maybe use the Shift key to add back in this little bit of hair that seems to be going over his face, and a little bit there as well. And again, an Alt key and take out this little bit of ear. Okay, so I've got most of Ron's hair there. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go to Select and Modify, and I'm going to feather this. Now what feathering does is it takes the hard edge off of what you've selected and makes it a little bit fuzzier. So I'm going to give it a feather of 2 pixels. And it looks as if it's rounded some bits out there, but they're still selected, just not 100% selected. I'm going to go to Select and Save Selection, and I'm going to call it Ron's hair. Okay, and I'm going to slide over a bit and up a bit, and I'm going to repeat this kind of process. So I'm going to use plus. Get the majority of the hair there, a little bit around there. Switch into minus, take out the neck, take out the background, take out this bump of column, take out the face. And then back to the lasso tool to tidy things up. So it's going to be Alt to remove the ear, Alt to remove this bit of brow and eye, that's not too bad, and maybe Shift to add in a few extra stray bits of hair that are sprouting up at the top there. Okay, I'm going to go to Select Save selection. And I'm going to add it to a channel. So instead of new, I'm going to go Ron's hair, add to channel, and OK. And then I'm going to come along here and down, and we've got Ginny. And a quick, remember, switching to plus. Quick grab of Ginny's hair. A little bit tricky because she's got it going down each side there. And then the lasso tool to tidy that up, the Alt key to remove the bits of the background. Should probably not have feathered Ron until I'd highlighted everyone actually, because I could have feathered everyone at the same time. Don't want her collar. I do want the Shift key to add in this bit of hair here. I want the Alt key to remove background here. And I want the Alt key to remove any of her face. And you really need to be careful here, otherwise you're going to lose the effect you're looking for. Maybe a bit more of this blue removed around there as well. Okay, so I've got Ginny, select, save selection, go back to Ron's hair, add to channel, click OK, and then we've got one twin left to do. Quick select, got plus on for a change, click, 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 click. His hair's much easier to pick up. We'll have straight into the neck region there, so take out the collar, take out the face. Take out the eyes, that's not too bad, and then one last. So I'm just doing little jagged edges here into his hairline. With the Alt key here, removing this little bit of blue background here. And removing this bit from his crown. So that looks not too bad. And then select, save selection, back to Ron's hair, add to channel. And now if I zoom out, so you go into the magnifying glass here, click fit screen, you can see we've got everyone's hair all highlighted at the same time. And I'm going to go to an adjustment layer here. And I think what I'm going to try and do is see if I can fix this with vibrance. Now it's going to affect everyone's. I'm going to go for hue saturation here. So the hue saturation, what we're looking to do is make everyone a bit redder. Maybe even a bit brighter. And we could adjust how we could actually make them all ridiculous purple wigs, for example, by adjusting where we're fitting in here. But yeah, keep it somewhere in the blue there, and we've got very, very orange hair. And that's just about done. So switch on the spell. And what I can do, so I can change the way this blends with the layer below. So at the moment it's got a normal blending and it's covering up the background. But what I could do is go to something like multiply. And then obviously all the dark things multiply with the dark and the light things multiply with the light. It's not really showing up particularly well there. Something better would be something like lighten. And what lighten does is it takes all the light things and makes them to their best advantage. So without lighten on, we get that, and then with it on we've got that. You could try out different options here.